Hi guys. My home group?
Yes, sir.
My home group? My home group? Okay. And this is Danielle. She's joined today. She's a brand new agent with us. So, open house blitz.
Good.
So, here's the skinny with the open house blitz. I went to Mark and Jeremy. Well, first let me tell you that I've been with my home group like from the beginning. I was agent number 86, and now we're at 2386 or something. How many do we have? A lot.
Yeah,
Anyway,
we're getting close to
Anyway, they've grown immensely, and so if I got a tattoo, it would be the My Home Group tattoo on my arm. 'Cause I love these guys, I love this company, and what they built here. And the reason I'm telling you that is, if there's one thing that My Home Group was missing, or that our competition had that we didn't, would be like the Remax balloon, right? Everybody recognizes the balloon, or Century 21, or Coldwell Banker, and all these big agencies, these big brokerages have that name recognition. So I went to Mark and Jeremy and I said, that's the only thing that anybody could ever come to us and say that they have on us. I think we have a whole lot over all the other brokerages. And there's a reason why My Home Group has recruited agents like Neil Brooks, that was number 2 for 12 straight years at HomeSmart, and Joshua Smith and Lawton's and all these big teams that are here. There's a reason they're here. Okay, so my thing with Jeremy and Mark was we gotta get our logo out there. We gotta get more recognition. So I came up with this idea. Let's do an open house blitz. I said let's get 100 agents to do an open house all on the same day. And we'll have open house signs everywhere. We'll get our partners, our title partners, and our lending partners. We'll get everybody to join us and just make a big day out of it, and just flood the market with open house signs that say My Home Group on My Home Group open houses. So we've done it twice.
Yep.
And they've been wildly successful both times.
And the reason being is it's just like with the car dealerships. What do? They put all their car dealerships right next to each other, don't they? The reason for that is because it draws more business into each one of the dealerships. You would think it would be counterintuitive. You'd think they would be away from each other because they'd be like taking each other's clients. But when you have a group of homes all together, or you got a citywide thing going on, it's going to drive more business into your open houses.
And it creates a kind of an atmosphere too.
It does.
And the truth of the matter is that Neil and I don't get paid to do this. We get nothing. We get the same thing you do. We get more My Home Group recognition, which just makes us a stronger brokerage.
Yeah.
Okay. So Mark and Jeremy's goal and Neil and I's goal is that if we can make one My Home Group agent better than all the others, because let's face it, 95% of people out there with a real estate license have no business doing real estate. Especially not in Arizona, where we don't have attorneys involved in our contracts, and we act as attorneys. If you don't even know what the contract says, how the hell can you service your clients? It just doesn't make sense. So our goal is to make every My Home Group agent better and make more money. So if you had to go get business tomorrow, how would you do it?
I would, I'll tell you guys a little bit about me. So I got into real estate 20 years ago, and I was in the resort business before that. And people say the resort business, were you selling timeshare?
Were you a cabana boy?
What's that?
Were you a cabana boy?
I could have been, yeah. No, when I first started, right? No, I would have liked to have been the cabana boy, but no. I actually worked at a privately owned resort in Scottsdale called the Scottsdale Plaza Resort. And what we did was all group business. So my job, and I started at the bottom, I started at the front desk and kind of worked my way up and got into a sales job where I was a national sales manager handling pharmaceutical companies and medical equipment companies, and I got them to bring their national meetings and their product launch meetings and stuff like that to our resort. So you bring 500 people in for a week, right? So that was a really great job. I did it for 10 years. And everything was going pretty good, As a salesperson, you guys are all salespeople, so you guys are kind of realizing what it's like to try and get clients and all that kind of stuff. So after doing that for 10 years, I kind of had my clients pretty nailed down. so that they would call me. You know, I was getting a lot of referral business and all this kind of stuff. So that was great. We went out and my wife and I bought our house, and then we closed, and 2 weeks later 9/11 happened. So when 9/11 happened, that job, boom, was pretty much over with, because it was a commission-based job, and there was no way. My clients were all in New York and New Jersey. I couldn't call New York and New Jersey and say, hey, how would you like to fly out to Arizona, you know, with your whole company, right? So some of you guys are too young to remember, probably you are too young to remember really 9/11, but for us that, you know, experienced it, it was pretty wild. So I had already gotten my real estate license, and I was kind of doing part-time. One of the things that I always advise new agents on is the best thing you can have when you get into real estate is a full-time job, right? So you can kind of work your way out of the full-time job into the real estate realm. So I was kind of thrust directly into real estate right away. I had no choice, and I had no money. And so that's what led me to doing open houses, okay? Because open houses are the least expensive way for you to not only get clients, right? But it's also a fantastic training opportunity for you, because it's real world training. You're getting out there, you're having random people come into the door, and they're gonna throw random questions at you. And you have to be able to answer those. So it really will hone your skills as a real estate agent, not only to hold the open houses and all that, but you're going to get money at the same time. So before we get too much into it, I just wanted to show you guys 3 listings that recently, this is all within the last 3 months, okay?
Mine was last weekend.
Yeah, so this one on 118th Street was one that Johnny was sitting. Person walked in, wrote a contract, boom, pending, right? For $849,000. This one down here, Firewheel, that one was, let me see if I can roll down here.
Hey, is this the open house class?
It is!
Oh, you're guys are like the masters of open house.
Oh man, you're not too late.
Is this the money for nothing for free class?
Yes, it is.
Wow.
Dire Straits.
Wow. Okay.
Do you want to sit in for a little while?
Well, I only have a couple minutes.
Oh, I know you're
hearing
busy,
you
man.
speak is just.
This
I'm
is
all-
Carl, you guys. Carl sits across the hall from us, and Carl is a strong believer in open houses. He built his business on open houses as well.
He's
So
also in the senior wing upstairs.
yeah, we're in the senior wing. We call it Sun City East up there. That's right, because all the youngsters are downstairs. We're up there. That's where all the fun is, by the way,
I'm
upstairs.
so sorry. That was
So anyway, so this was a listing. I was in another listing of mine, and they walked into my other listing, which was in McDowell Mountain Ranch, and they needed to sell their house because they wanted to get a bigger house. So I listed their house and sold that one, and then
But wait, you were sitting at a listing and got that listing.
right,
sitting at
I was
home.
sitting at one of my listings, and then I got this listing because they walked into that listing, and they said, "Hey, we're thinking of selling our house." Da 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 da. Went out, met with them, boom, listed their house,
Let
got
me
their
interrupt
house
for a second,
sold.
Danielle. So, do you guys do open houses? Danielle, you don't count. Do you do open houses?
Thanks.
No?
I just started here in September.
Okay.
I sold land before that. So.
Okay. Do you do open houses?
I just started too, like a month ago.
Okay, this is
Oh,
perfect.
you do open houses?
My second one is Friday.
Okay. So let me just throw something out real quick.
Yeah.
So Carl and Neil and I probably all do our open houses different. And there's no right or wrong way to do an open house. But what he's talking about, I do open houses to get listings. I'll get buyers organically. You're gonna get buyers. You do an open house, you're gonna get a buyer. And if you know how to talk to people and the right things to say to them, you'll get buyers, and they'll be solid buyers if you play your cards right. And we can go through that. But I knock doors after my open house. I don't knock them before. The neighbors will find it. If they want to come by, trust me. There's something in neighbors' brains that when there's an open house, they want to go look at their neighbor's house. It just works that way. And they're gonna come down and they're gonna snoop around to see.
That's okay though.
That's okay. We want them to come in. That's
Right.
the people I want more than anything.
Nosy neighbors are your best
They're
client.
your best best visitors at an open house.
How many
is the
times do you
neighborhood.
have an agent say, oh, it was a neighborhood snoop fest?
Yeah.
Right?
I was like, wow, where was it? I wanna sit that
I
way next
know,
weekend.
I know.
I wanna sit there.
That's
So I was sitting in my Greenway listing, the people walked in, they said they were thinking of selling their house, and they wanted to buy another house. These people are in their 70s. So they had a 2-story house, and they didn't want to climb the stairs anymore to go up to the upstairs. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. And the thing I always tell people, because now I'm getting to that age too, 1 stroke, you're living downstairs. That's the truth. And I told them that. 1 stroke, you're living downstairs. And there's no bedrooms downstairs, right? That's the reality, you guys. So they needed to sell that house. They were gonna spend like $600,000. I showed them $600,000. Well, they wound up spending $1 million, $169 on a house. So we sat, between the two of us, we've sat a couple of, in the last 3 months, a couple of open houses or whatever, and that comes out to, it went off, but it rounded off at $78,000 in commissions between the two of us. $78,000 in commissions. Do you think that was worth doing those open houses? Wasn't it? Was it worth it?
Absolutely.
$78,000. So, and I'm telling you guys, so many agents out there do not want to do them because it's not sexy.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about why agents don't do open house. Okay? Why do you think that? You're a brand new realtor. You just got your license today. Why do you think realtors don't do open houses?
I am surprised they're not, because to me that would be
Makes
one
sense,
of the
right?
greatest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Carl, why do you think realtors don't do open houses?
I think there's a variety of reasons depending on their personalities. Some people don't like, first off, they don't know what to do. They don't know how, if they're newer, how do I do it? Where do I get the signs? Oh no, what am I gonna say to these people?
Right.
Oh, and then they hear a bunch of people say, you know what, you've got less than 1% conversion on that stuff. Why are you wasting your time on that? Why don't you go do this as a higher dollar productivity aspect, okay? And my response to that is, if you're open for business, why not advertise? And there's no better way to develop a relationship than when someone comes in and wants to talk about the neighborhood, talk about this or talk about that. That's what these guys do. They talk about, I did an open house and I made $100,000. What they did was they had an open house and they developed a relationship with someone who came in that wanted some information. And they didn't just say, here's a piece of paper and go back to typing their email. They actually engaged them in a conversation. And they have their different scripts and dialogues, and like you said, we all do it a little bit differently. But it's all about developing a relationship with someone and finding out, well, what are you interested in?
Right.
What's going on? Have you had 1 or 2 strokes? You know.
I don't do the stroke thing.
Yeah, for me, it's a little too close to home for me, brother. You know.
Go ahead.
If I could just say, I broke a hip and was on a walker because I didn't get the surgery. I didn't have to have the surgery, and I didn't want an implant, and I didn't want
Right.
metal in my leg. I was on a walker for 2 months. Can't go up and down steps with a walker.
That's
And
right.
I was not allowed to be weight bearing.
That's right. So you were living downstairs.
That's right.
Right. So this really hits
First
home.
floor.
So my house flooded out 3 years ago, and my wife and I were like, well, what are we gonna do? And we've got one more at home. Like, he's gonna be gone to college soon. Are we gonna downsize? And we're like, downsize to what? We're on one level. Let's just die here. You know, it's literally when you get to be. I'm 58 last week. When you get to be like 78, like Carl, then you got to start thinking about, stairs become important. But that's all relative.
Well, no, this is, I know we're getting a little off the subject here, but the reason that we're bringing this kind of stuff up is because you need to be cognizant of when somebody walks in the door, and you got to be cognizant of what potential issues or concerns would that person have. So,
I just finished where I was going.
Yeah,
with mine,
keep
now I'm
going.
doing that. So I believe that the reason people don't do open houses is because they're scared.
yes,
It's fear. Like, what if somebody asks me a question I don't know? My answer? Who gives a shit? Seriously, who cares? What if you lost? You have lost nothing.
They're not there judging you.
If somebody
And
comes
if
in
they
your
are, so
house,
what?
right.
if somebody comes in and you don't end up having them as a client, what have you lost? You've lost nothing. Zero. It didn't cost you anything. All you did is lose one person.
But
So
you might have learned something.
might have
too.
learned something. So what did they ask me that I wasn't good at then? So, Neil and I both will let people shadow us at open houses. Now I don't know if Very few people would have the guts to say the stuff I say to people. I throw people out of my open houses all the time. Get out. Get out of this house right now. All the time. They start walking around, who would paint their house like this? Well, if you don't like it, paint it. But you don't have to denigrate the people that live here now. If you don't like it, that's your taste. But if they go on and on and on, I'm like, hey, get out. Get out, you're wasting my time. I have other people here that I want to talk. I do that all the time.
And that is empowering.
I don't care.
That is empowering because people beat you down, right? So every so often you beat back, and it gives you some power.
If people come with their pets, you cannot bring your dog in this house. Sorry. Well, I'll carry it the whole time. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I love your dog.
You can't bring your dog in this house. These people, what if they have allergies to dogs? I don't know that. You can't bring it in. I've never been so offended. Sorry. See ya.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta.
What if it's a service dog?
That's a different story. If they got, I say, show me the card. The service dog, show me your card, and then I'll let you in the house with the dog.
Right, and we know they get fake cars, but at least they show that to us, then we have a reason to let them come in.
Okay, the whole thing about open houses is just, you gotta remember you're in charge. It's your open house. You're allowed to talk to who you want and not talk to who you want. And if somebody's somebody you don't want to talk to, don't talk to them. You know, and if you're talking with somebody and they seem like a waste of time and there's somebody else in the house that might be a better, and in your judgment, a better connection, blow them off. Go talk to the other people. You've lost nothing. Okay? There's a lot of different ways about this. Okay? I have an open house sign-in sheet. Okay? Every open house you go to, the realtor's going to beat the snot out of you to get what? Your phone number and your email address. For what? So they can start dripping to you and call you. Well, my open house sign-in sheet addresses all that. Option 1. Here's my phone number. Please call me 327 times a week, so I'm ready to kill you. Option 2, here's my email. Send me 587 emails so my spam folder's full. Or option 3, here's my information. Let's create a professional business relationship that I control. That's it. When people are reading that, I tell them, guys, I don't have time to call you 500 times next week to see if you want to do business with me. If you have questions for me, ask them now, because I'm not going to be bugging you for the next 3 weeks and sending you 9,000 emails. I'm too busy with my clients, and they get my attention. Boom, 97% sign my
His sign-in sheet, and can you give everybody an example of it when you're
Yeah,
done?
I can email it to you if you want.
His sign-in sheet is gold. Yes, do you have a question?
Well, I was just gonna see if you would expound on that a little more, because I do have a problem with, being told to put a sign at the front that says, for security reasons, we need your information. And then these people feel tricked almost to give you everything, then we're just supposed to start sending
Let me take this one.
listings
Let me
and
take this
stuff.
one.
The
That
last
doesn't
thing,
feel good.
the last thing on my sign-in sheet, in parentheses, it says, if your name is Mickey Mouse, Peter Pan, Jennifer Aniston, George Clooney, don't bother leaving your information, I already have it. In other words, don't waste my paper with a fake name and address. If you don't want to sign it, don't sign it.
But it has to mirror your personality.
It does.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. So, yeah, when you put a sign up that says, for security purposes, I need this, everybody knows that's BS. Okay, although there is a certain component to it. And we're going to talk about security with open houses here, because there are certain things you guys, both men and women, have to worry about when they're doing an open house security-wise. So, but to answer your question, it's more important, and we'll kind of walk you through the steps here in a second, to build that connection with people than get a bunch of information and they're never going to call you back anyways, right? So typically what I do is I will have a sign set up in the kitchen. So they got to kind of walk in, and it'll say, please sign in and take a snack. And I'll just put the little thing there, and I'll put the little snacks underneath. One of the secrets is, you guys can go and go to like Costco and get those pre-wrapped like crackers and stuff like that. Those things last in your trunk for months. All right, so you can use them over and over again. People want this. So, dirty little secret for real estate. But those are the snacks, right? Those are the snacks. They don't
Neil
melt.
Tyson doesn't like them, put them back in the
Yeah. So have those, and then have your sign that says, please take it, and when the people come in, you're always going to want to, the first thing you want to do, and this is counterintuitive, is you're going to want to lock the door. You want to lock the front door. Now sometimes, if you get a really busy open house, you can't do that, but you want to lock that front door, number one, for security reasons, And number two, you want to meet the person at the front door. So when somebody rings that front door, you're going to come in, you're going to have two things. One is going to be the sexy printout with pictures and all that. And the other one is going to be the MLS handout, okay? You save the MLS handout for later. Because what's the most awkward thing when you're in an open house? It's trying to reapproach that person again, right? Without seeming like you're one of those salespeople, you know? Anybody ever go to buy like some clothing and you go into the clothing store and the salesperson kind of follows you around and does all this kind of stuff? It's
Is
very
that why you look so dapper?
Thank you, yes, yeah. So it's the same thing with real estate. People don't like that. So you don't want to follow them around, but you want to have a reason to approach them again. So when they knock, you know, they ring the front door, you go up to the front door, you open it up, you know, introduce yourself, and you hand them, and you walk them in, you go, come on in, hey, I'm blah, blah, blah. Now you can shake their hand, but be careful, especially if you're a guy, and it's a woman at the front door, she may not feel comfortable with you grabbing her hand. Okay? So just kind of wait and see if she puts her hand out first. Okay? So just kind of be cognizant of that. And you introduce yourself, and then you hand them the flyer. And then I give them a quick rundown. I say, oh, this house is blah, blah, blah. It's blah, blah, blah. Come over here to the kitchen. Hey, do you mind signing in? Take a snack. Okay? And just by that, and then when they see Johnny's sign-in sheet, they laugh. And it absolutely breaks the ice. And it breaks that tension that everybody feels when they walk in the door, right? Because they see these things. And don't they laugh?
Yeah, and if they don't laugh, then it tells me what I'm up against.
Right. And it's good. It gives you information. You guys have to be, it's like a game of 3D chess. And you have to be paying attention, super paying attention. There's everything.
There's a secret to the sign-in sheet, you know. So with mine, if they're not laughing, that tells me something. But when they
Is this
get
my bottle or
yeah,
yours?
it's yours, but
Okay.
but when they're reading it, when they get to the second one, I tell them, hey guys, let me just tell you what. Okay, every open house you go to, the realtor's gonna beat you up to try to get your email and your phone number. And you know what? I'm not interested in that. If you're looking for a realtor, I'm really, really good at what I do. Leave your name and number. If you'd like to work with me, let's get to work. But I'm not going to spend a bunch of time beating you up for your phone number. If you don't want to leave it, that's fine. Take a look around the house. Let me know.
And give me some feedback.
Give me some feedback before you leave. I like to let people know what you think. And they're all like, oh yeah, let's give them one. They'll look at each other and they'll go, oh, the last two open houses we're at, man, the guy almost like beat the shit out of me just to get my
Yeah, they'll either do that or they'll completely ignore you and watch TV or read a book. Right? They're not even engaged, a lot of the realtors. So the person comes in, you give them the sheet, you bring them in.
Wait, let's go back to that. If you're a realtor and you're doing an open house and you have people in the house and you're sitting there reading a book, just go get a job as a bartender or something.
Right, do
You're
something
in the wrong
else.
business.
Do something else because you're not
You're in the
doing your job.
wrong business. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, you're going to go out of business real
you're in the
quick.
business of buying and selling homes, and you've got someone that's either interested in buying or selling a home there. And if you're sitting there reading a book, you're an idiot. Get out of the business.
Right. I mean, that's being
That's just
lazy and it's
stupid.
It
just
might be a
not.
business book, it might be a reason why they're doing it, but the question
It
is,
could
if
be.
you're at that open house, you're at work, right?
That's right.
So the question is, what is that thing you should be doing? Maybe it is a business book you should be reading. Maybe it should be making your calls to your database.
That's
Maybe
correct.
you should be doing some, there's a million things you can be doing, but I think Johnny's point is, and I've fallen prey to that as well, because when you said it just came rushing back, I get engaged in my task. I gotta make certain that task is down and away. By having the door locked, I have time to put that away.
Right.
Go to the, so I love what you guys are saying.
Yeah, and the task, yeah, it's okay to work at your open house, okay? Because you'll have a 4-hour open house, right? And you're going to have stretches of 45 minutes. During those 45 minutes, that's when you should be calling your database to other people that came into your open house last weekend, maybe, you know, that left a number. Hey, I'm doing an open house this weekend over here. You want to come see it? But anyways,
Wait, I had a question.
yeah.
I had a question. Full-time realtor? Full-time realtor? Full-time realtor? Part-time? Full-time? Okay. So let me ask you a question. If you could sit in an open house or sit in here, where would you rather sit?
Open house?
Well,
Absolutely.
Find an open house. Find a house that's vacant. Here's the secret to my success. I'll tell you right now. The very first open house I ever set, I had no clue what I was doing, but I wasn't scared. I was like, I hope somebody comes in, I'm gonna learn something, I'm either gonna get some business or I'm gonna be embarrassed, and I don't care, I do plenty of that on my own. So, I found a house on 64th Street, busy street, right, 4 lanes, overpriced. Did I learn the most beautiful lesson? It wasn't selling, it was so far overpriced. I sat that house open for 40 straight days.
Yeah.
Every single day I was there. What's the difference? I got a little, I bought myself a table and a chair and a hotspot, so I just worked from there every day instead of being in and out. I had plenty to do. I had people I had to call. I had ads I had to create. I mean, I was coming out of a crazy business that was so different. It was, go sit open house every day.
Right,
Why not?
open
You gotta work
houses.
anyway.
Right, open houses are a platform for you to get business, and a lot of times you sell the listing at the same time, so it's a win-win. So the people walk in the door, get them over there to the kitchen, right? They sign in, and maybe they don't sign in. If they don't make them feel uncomfortable, right? And then I tell them, I walk them into like the middle of the house, and then you give them, and this is going to be good for you too, because you're talking about something you know about, right? You know that the master bedroom's on that side. You know that the other bedrooms are on this side. You know the garage is back there. So this is going to help you build your own confidence, because you're going to introduce, your name, right? So when they come in,
God, let's hope so.
right, you're going to say hello, you're going to get their
Can you
name,
show me?
and then you're going to immediately forget, their name. So here we go. We're going to do a big thing here. Well, I got to have the paper. You have a piece of paper? Hold on, let me get the paper. Okay, here we go. I got it. Blah, blah, blah. Here we go. Hey, Neil Brooks.
Hi, Neil. Carl Eisenberg.
Hey, nice to meet you,
Nice to
Carl.
meet you.
Come on in, man.
Thank you.
Hey, here's the print. Here's the flyer. Come on over to the kitchen here.
Oh.
Do you mind signing in, taking a snack?
Sure, why not?
All right, yeah, just go ahead. Go ahead. Sign in, take a snack.
Wow, you're a dirtbag. That's funny.
Okay, this home is a 2,500 square foot home. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's got a 2-car garage, and there's a swimming pool out back.
Okay.
The master bedroom's on this side. It's a split floor plan. The other bedrooms are on that side. Go ahead and wander around.
Awesome. Thank you.
Right. So now he goes and he wanders. See how easy that was? Now I've already forgotten his name by this point, okay? And when he goes and he wanders around, that's the one thing. You got to try and remember their name, okay? I usually forget the name within a millisecond. So try and, when they give you their name, try and remember somebody else that you know that has that same name. That's always helped me, okay?
Now, what if I had said,
Let me interject.
what if I had, right here, let me just write, what if I had said, oh, hey, I've got a realtor.
Yeah, that's totally fine. I go, that's fantastic. I always
Okay.
say, I'm glad you have a realtor, because a lot of people go around unrepresented. And this is a really complicated business we have, so I'm glad you got a realtor. That's great. But
Perfect.
once you go through the house, I'd love to get some feedback from you,
Great, okay.
right? Because they're going to say they have a realtor whether they do or not.
I
Right?
call bullshit.
Doesn't he have to have?
I call bullshit.
Pardon?
Doesn't he have to have his realtor with him when they first walk in?
No, he does not. Now that is if they're going into a new build.
Oh, okay.
The new construction people will screw you. The builders will screw you.
Hey, I did new home sales.
Right. Okay. Well,
We
you
screwed
did.
everybody.
Okay, yeah, well, that's what they do, and the thing is, and you can't blame the builders if they can get away with it, but here's the way to say that to people. I hear a lot of agents, we're going off a little bit here, agents always say, well, if you go into the new build, then I can't get paid, right? It's all about you. So the better way to say that is to your client, hey, don't go into any new builds, because the builders don't want you to be represented. They want to they want to have their agent who works for them do the whole thing.
Yep.
So please don't go in, or else, trust me, they're going to try and not let you be represented. So see, now you're focusing on the client, and it's not about you. Because let's face it, the clients really don't care, nor should they, about us, our commission, our personal life, or anything else. Okay? So Carl comes in.
Not yet, they don't.
No. So Carl comes in, and now Carl's wandering around. So now it's like awkward, right? Oh my God, what do I do now? Okay? This is why you have the MLS printout. So what you'll do is when they start wandering around, you go out to the backyard. and you go stand in the backyard, right? If you gotta get your phone to pretend like you're talking to somebody on the phone or whatever, and have that MLS printout with you, because where are they eventually gonna go? They're gonna go to the backyard, right? And you don't have to be following them around. Now they're coming to you, right? So you go out into the backyard, and you got your MLS printout, and they come walking out, and that's when you get the story, okay? Because they've already walked around, they see that you're not gonna be jumping on them and all this kind of stuff. So you'll say, hey Carl, do you live in the neighborhood? We're in the backyard now, you guys.
No, we live close. We're looking at this neighborhood.
Oh, okay. Well, here, by the way, is the more details. This has the
That's
HOA.
fantastic. I was gonna ask you about that.
Yeah, the
Thank you so
HOA,
much.
the taxes, all that kind of stuff, right? This is more detail now, right, that we're giving them. So we're giving them more information, and it's not awkward because you're not following them around, right? Ooh, what do I say now?
Yeah, I realized, thank you for this, I realized we actually need a 4-bedroom house.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, that's cool. So are you renting right now, Carl, or are you
Yeah, we
guys
just
owning your house?
relocated. I had an island in the Cayman Islands and I sold that. And, I'm buying with cash.
Okay, so you don't have anything you need to sell right now.
No, we're in an Airbnb right now. It's kind of pricey.
Okay, I totally get that. What kind of a time frame are you guys looking at?
Well, it depends if we find the right. We don't have to buy,
Yeah, you guys got all the time in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
I get that. No, and you want to take your time.
But if we find the right house, then we'll make a move.
So who's your agent?
Right.
That's how you ask that question, you guys.
Tony.
That's how you ask it.
Yeah.
Don't say to the person, "Oh, are you working with an agent?" Right? How many times do we do that? And what are they going to say?
Of course.
Yes, I am working with an agent. So you throw it in there really quick, like, "Oh, who's your agent?" And they go, I don't know. I don't have an agent, right? So that's how you do it. That's how you ask that question. And you just slide it in there. Be cool, Oh, by the way, who are you working with? Who's your agent? Right? Okay. So then the person,
I'm way more abrupt.
no, and that's okay. Everybody's going to have their own style. And it doesn't make it right or wrong. So then you can start gathering information. Now, out of 50 people that come in, you're going to have a conversation like that 2 times. Okay? So it's a numbers game. Now, sometimes it can get even better than that, right? But just think when you're new that it's going to be 2 out of 50 that you're going to get to that point. And out of those 2, how many of those 2 are going to call you back? Maybe. But you might have to do more open houses and have 5 or 10 of those to get one of them to call you back. So you see what I'm talking
I
about?
think the key statement that you just made is when you're new.
Right.
Because I can tell you, if I get 50 people through, my ratio is going to be
Much higher.
Way, way higher.
It gets better and better and better and better.
Way higher.
Because people feel that you're confident. They can feel the confidence. You know what you're talking about. You're not being overpowering. And yeah, when you've been doing these for a while,
Can I just interject on that too?
Yes.
I think you really should do open houses where you live. In the first, we have people filming open houses from the other side of town and opening
Right.
Scottsdale, and that's fine as long as they're educating themselves on Scottsdale. The biggest and the easiest way for you to show knowledge, which is what is going to convert a buyer or a seller, is knowledge of the neighborhood. So if you hold it in your own neighborhood and they said, "How are the schools? Oh my God, the schools are amazing. My kids grew up here." And
Right.
blah blah blah. And I know, oh my God, the restaurants are great. And on the weekends, there's parties in the park. And you know what I mean. If you hold it in an area and don't go after in the beginning a price range, go after where you're familiar.
Let me
But
tell you
that is
how. Let me
such
tell
a
you how real that
big.
is.
It just makes you more comfortable in the open house because there aren't any questions really
that you
that
don't
are going to
know.
come up that you're like, I don't know where the nearest high school is. Why? Really?
So-
You know what I mean? So
this house is. I live a mile from this house.
Yeah.
I know the Shea Corridor, and
Right.
these people moved here from Holland. They didn't know anything, and I was able to tell them everything. I was like, "Do you have pets?" Yeah. The closest pet hospital is right down here. That's a great thing to tell people when they're looking at a neighborhood, because everybody's got pets and they all love their pets.
yeah.
Where's
Well,
the closest
knowing that.
dog hospital? Where's the closest, restaurant? And I've got a little trick that I use in the Shade Corridor. I tell everybody, you move in the Shade Corridor, you can be born here and be buried all in the same corridor. because the hospital's at 92nd Street, and the cemetery's right across the street.
That's
And
so true.
everything in between is right here in the Shade Corridor. You've got restaurants, shopping, everything. So you can be born in the Shade Corridor and be buried in the Shade Corridor and never leave. People think it's funny, but it's true. I mean, I know that area real well. But let me throw something else out about even doing, so I pick up listings. I heard you say something about Deer Valley or Happy Valley today? What area, west or east or?
Like Norterra areas where I live.
Okay, I live over at 43rd Avenue in Happy Valley.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just on the other side, I-17. So go on.
So I had a listing at 53rd and Happy Valley, between Happy Valley and, what's the next street? No,
What's that?
Happy Valley, then what's the next?
Pinnacle Peak.
Pinnacle Peak. 53rd Pinnacle Peak, $1 million listing, $860,000. Buddy of mine's house, known him for 30 years. I've been over there, I've gotten drunk in his, I mean, I had a party in this house several times. We had a big bar, it had a 1,600 square foot man cave, it's huge. But before I had my first open house, I went over and I sat with them, I said, where's the closest Chinese restaurant? Where's the best Chinese food? Where's the best Mexican food? Where's the pet hospital? Just tell me a little about it, because I didn't know the neighborhood. I kind of knew it. I've lived here for 35 years, so I kind of knew it, but little stuff like that, the more you can find out, the better off you are. And then just keep those bullets in your pocket, Just
Right.
keep them in your pocket. And now the one thing that I do way different than Neil, and it's really important to my open house, is when I introduce myself, I ask them, do you live in the neighborhood? That's my first.
I do that too.
That's
at a
my
certain
first
point.
question. I want to know if they're the neighbors. I want to know, because if they don't live in the neighborhood, they're going to tell you, no, we're just, I'm visiting from Chicago, I'm just looking at houses. Now all of a sudden I got a completely different attitude.
Right. A different sales
A
tactic.
totally different tact.
Right.
So that's the first question I ask. And like I said, Neil's got his way, I got my way, everybody's got their, but that's the first question I ask.
Well, and I think we probably asked
Yeah.
the same questions, maybe
Yeah,
just
we
in a
did,
different
just
order.
in a different order.
Yeah.
My first question is, do you live in the neighborhood? And if they're the neighbor, I'm like, oh, thanks for coming by.
Right.
I'm so happy you came by. Because the neighbors are thinking you're going to go, oh, God, one of the neighbors. I'm thrilled to see the neighbors. You're who I'm doing this open house, so you would come by.
Now remember, those neighbors are interviewing agents because they're potentially going to list their house.
You are on an interview.
Right.
From the minute you put your name tag on in the morning, you are on an interview. When you go to set your signs out, when you stop to get a hamburger to eat before everybody starts coming in, when you stop to get water, the whole time from when you leave your house and put your signs in the trunk, you're on an interview for
That's
a
right.
job, without question. Everybody that walks in that's a buyer, you're interviewing for a job. Everybody that walks in that's getting ready to list, you're interviewing for a job. And the worst thing you can do is get caught by the guy that's selling the house's buddy that comes over to check you out.
Don't forget, they
Don't
always lay that trap.
This house is a piece of shit, I wouldn't buy it, but I could find you something else. Or the people who live here are slobs.
They do. The
Smell
sellers
freaking
lay that
bar.
trap
They
every
shop.
goddamn time.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you don't think they're doing that, you're
Yeah.
fooling yourself.
Or the guy that's getting ready to sell his house is thinking, is that what you're gonna say when you're in my house? You're gonna talk
Exactly.
bad about my house? You can say stuff like, this layout might not be for everybody. I mean, there's no bedroom downstairs, which would be a challenge if mom and dad were a little older or something like that. But this house has great bones. Always find a way to compliment the
Yeah,
house. 'cause
somebody
you
says
see
the house
yourself
is
right in the-
overpriced, they go, oh, this house is way overpriced.
Everybody's entitled to their opinion, but to be really honest with you, the market's gonna tell us what this house is worth. Not me, not
Boom.
you, not anybody else.
The appraiser decides.
The market's gonna tell us what this is worth.
Right.
You may think it's overpriced. I mean, you might not like that blue wallpaper. Everybody's got their opinion.
So I guess what he's trying to say is don't get in that trap of
Don't get
downing the
trapped.
house so that you can connect with whoever's walking in.
Don't get trapped.
You know what I mean? Because that's a trap.
Yep, and people will do that. They'll have their friends go by, hey, go by the open house and see what he's saying about my house.
Yep.
God, I think the lady that lives here is a stripper. Look at this stuff in the closet.
Right.
Neil taught me that one. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, we do tell people to get everything out of the house they don't want somebody to see before we list it.
So let's talk
You
Blitz.
never know.
Let's talk Blitz for a second, okay? Because I don't know how long we have, but Blitz is important. So this open house Blitz, how's it an advantage to you guys to do the Blitz? It's like that used car lot thing, or the car lot thing that
More people
Neil was
out looking around.
Yeah, and you know what? Right now, people are out on weekends because look at the weather. Okay, people are out looking at houses. I don't buy into the whole thing of it's hot out, people don't do open houses. I do open houses all year long.
Yeah.
Do you know what the very best day of the year to do an open house is? My opinion?
Would be.
Black Friday. Best day of the year to do an open house. This town is loaded with people that came to have turkey with grandma. You know what? But they all go home for Christmas. I'm from Chicago. Everybody gotta have snow for Christmas, and the Blackhawks and the Bears, and people go back to New York and Boston, Wisconsin, and they go back. But for Thanksgiving, they don't. And guess what? You can't buy gifts and carry them on the plane anymore because it costs you $25 for every package. So what are people doing on Black Friday here? They're out playing golf, thinking, God, there's 4 feet of snow in Chicago.
That's right.
You know, and then they decide maybe we should go out, just look around and see what it is. So I have 17 billboards in Chicago that says time to move to Arizona. I have relocation, that's what I do. I do relocation. And then when it gets really cold, half that billboard's gonna be a picture of somebody shoveling snow, and the other half of it's gonna be me in a T-box. And it's just gonna say, had enough. Okay, so yeah, when it's shitty up north, yeah, you should be doing open houses. Black Friday's the best day of the year. Veterans Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, holidays.
Any holiday.
People have a day off. Okay, so you gotta do something with your wife or your mom and you gotta celebrate Mother's Day. So what? Do a 2-hour open house.
You guys are in real estate now, so holidays, you don't have any anymore.
Yeah, that's over.
Period.
That's over.
Holidays are over.
If I
Weekends
take
are gone.
if I take a day off, which I never do, Tuesday is a good day to take off.
Yeah,
Monday, you gotta do all your follow-up from the weekend.
right.
Tuesday's kind of that one day where it's like, you know, if I'm gonna screw off and go play golf, it's gonna be Tuesday.
Tuesday or
Because
Wednesday.
then you're
for me.
right back at the grind on Wednesday, getting ready for your open house for the weekend.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk blitz. Let's talk the advantage of the blitz.
Yeah, let's talk blitz. Well, wait, did you guys have any questions so far? We've been doing a lot of talking. Do you guys have any questions so far about how the whole open house works? You know?
You know, find open house.
Okay, we got 2 of them. Go ahead, you first.
It's not related to the Blitz, but, do you find it beneficial to spread the word among other realtors that it is your opening, you have an
Yeah.
open house?
Yeah, so once you
And
get
have people come to you, that way you have traffic and you have the,
Good question.
Once you get on the MLS, you'll see there's a place that you can post on the MLS where it says open houses.
Okay.
And also, that gets picked up by Zillow. Okay? But let me give you a little hint. You're gonna learn all this stuff. You got a ton to learn. You wanna go on Zillow and put it on there yourself that you're having an open house, because a lot of people go, they'll pull up Zillow, I'm looking for open houses in this area. This is where my husband and I wanna move to. Okay? And they'll go, oh, look, there's 4 open houses. And they'll do that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and start. So yes, absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely.
and also what you can do is call the other agents that have listings in that neighborhood and ask them if they all want to do a weekend together.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Or ask them if they've got an open house listed, ask them, hey, what time are you gonna do your open house on Saturday? It says on here it's 10 to 3. I'm gonna run from 11 to 4. You know, if you wanna come in a little earlier, or you wanna come in late, if you wanna, because you want all the same people. It doesn't matter.
yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's not, you're not fighting for, I mean, they're gonna like that house or your house. If they don't, they might not like your own. You know, it's no big deal.
These are the 3 platforms that you want to make sure if you're sitting somebody else's listing that they post on these 3 platforms when your open house is going to be.
And one more.
Which one? Oh, yes, of course. And we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. We're going to get
This
to
is
that.
new and
because
this is
Do
exciting.
you want to talk about that
Yeah,
now?
let's do it.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
absolutely.
This is a
Yeah,
good
I'll
time.
talk about it now.
Come on up.
Actually, you guys had a whole bunch of stuff, but so we have.
Wait.
Come on.
Okay, I'll come up
This
with
is
this.
Shannon. You're gonna be on
So
the
whole big class,
You're
yay!
gonna take a bow.
Now, how do you pronounce your last name?
Quagliata.
Quagliata.
I didn't think I didn't say it. you know?
Quagliata, yes.
Is that like
It's
Italian? Okay, that's what I was
Sicilian.
wondering. Okay.
Yes, I look very Italian.
Do you cook?
Yes, a lot. Yes.
that your maiden
And I
name?
like red wine. No, that is my married name. So,
So you made an Italian guy.
yes.
Do you want us to keep asking more questions?
So, anyway, pre-open house, do you guys know what it is yet? Have you heard about it?
I
Okay.
just watched your little TV.
You just watched that on the TV
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, so we're the first open house platform. So I've been a realtor in Arizona for 12 years. I built my business on open houses. I've done many open houses like Neil where I've had the neighbors come in. And I had an open house, like my open house story, which was one of my best ones, is that I was holding an open house. There was a house on the corner. It was in Kierland. House on the corner had been on the market over a month and a half. So my clients call me, I get them as a referral, and they're like, hey, we need to put our house on the market. I'm like, great. So I'm like, I always hold an open house on my listings the first weekend it's on the market. I put it on the market on a Thursday. I always hold an open house myself on a Saturday and Sunday.
And why is that?
Because I know the house the best.
Right?
And that's when everybody's going to come in because it's new. And
when you're
that's
gonna
the
get
best
most
way to
activity.
get the neighbors and new buyers and new sellers and everybody. And you know the house the best too, and it's new to the market, so it's just all of a sudden new. So I put this house on the market, I put open house signs out, I put balloons, I did all this stuff, and I held it on Saturday and Sunday. Neighbors came in, and not only did I get a buyer came in, I double-sided the open house that day. It went under contract that day. The house next door had been on the market a month and a half. Same price range, same everything, same street. And then the neighbor came over and said, hey, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. You know, how come, why do you think the house hasn't sold next door?
Can I
And
jump in?
said, yeah,
So the neighbor who was trying to sell their house
yeah.
came into your house.
No, the neighbor on the other side of the
Okay.
house that I was selling came in and asked about the house on the
On the
corner.
other side, okay,
Why
got
do you
it.
think it hasn't sold? We've never even seen that agent, they said.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, well, I don't know. And I said, honestly, I bet I'm probably going to put this under contract today. They're like, really? Would you sell our house? So literally, I went next door, and I met them after I closed on my open house. I went, sat at their kitchen table, literally got them as a client. Their house went on the market because I said, oh my God, I had 10 buyers come in and we are already under escrow. Well, we want you to sell us. Now we have to buy a house. So then they had to buy a house. They were upsizing because they were pregnant. So then I had to buy, they sold a $500,000 house. They bought an $800,000 house. I just sold and double-sided a $500,000 house. And then their parents had to buy a house and sell a house. This was like a $100,000 open house for me.
Right.
And that is how easy it is.
It is.
I mean, it wasn't. And it's because I was just there on a Saturday and Sunday, and people came in, and that's what happened.
And
so
you talk to people.
that's
When
how
they come
easy
in.
it is, and that's really how easy it is, and that's why. And I mean, that really is the
And
monetary
that
value.
happens all the time.
And you guys,
It doesn't happen all the time.
We're not
It does.
like-
It
we're-
does happen.
And we're not
Yeah.
like magicians or something.
Yeah.
We don't have some secret sauce or whatever. We just get in there and we just be ourselves.
You know what it is? We're just a little bit smarter than our competitors. And if her app can help you be a little smarter than your
It's
competitor,
very amazing.
then-
It is.
then you're,
It
then
is.
you're ahead of the game. So let me just throw
That-
one
Yes.
thing in, and then I'm
Go
gonna let
ahead.
you go
No,
full
go
go on
ahead.
your thing.
No, that's all
So
right.
you heard me say earlier that I knock doors after my open house. Do you know why I do that? So let's say I had 15, 20 people through my open house. I go tell the neighbors, I say, hey guys, I just wanted to let you know I'm the guy that did the open house down here. Sorry if the traffic blocked the thing or anything, but we had 15 people come through. We're probably going under contract on that with one of them, but this neighborhood's hot. We had a lot of people come through. If you had any interest in seeing what your house is worth or listing it, let me know. I'm glad to give you some kind of comp analysis to let you know where it would be on the market. You would be amazed how many people like, let me get your card. Can you come in now? No, I'm sorry. I have to finish knocking the rest of these doors.
Right.
But I tell you what, I can be back here at like 5. Do you have any beer? Yeah, we have a cold beer. I said, you have a cold beer waiting for me? I'll see you at 5. Then I go to my car, I pull up their house on the MLS, I do an RPR real quick on it, I go to Monsoon, I can get a pretty good number. Their house is gonna be worth about 5.25. I'm not gonna tell them that, but now I at least know.
Kind of what it is.
Yeah.
So I'm going in there, I'm not going in there dead. I'm going in there with at least a couple bullets in my gun. I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna have a beer with them. How long you lived in the neighborhood? Did you raise your kids here? You know, where you from originally? Where you thinking about going? You can ask all these probing questions that they just think you're being friendly, which I am, really, truly, I wanna know.
Because you really do
But
care.
then by the time I'm done, I know that they wanna buy a house in Kierland, that this thing's worth 5.25, their kid's gotta be in a good school, and I mean, I know all that stuff before I ever even talk to them about listing their house. Sorry, that's why I knock doors after. I always knock doors after, and it sucks. Let me tell you how bad it sucks. When it's 110 degrees outside, You just had an open house, you wanna go home. I mean,
Right.
you wanna go home and have a beer and just relax, but go not
Real
10
slow.
doors.
Absolutely.
Well, the listing appointment should be like that, by the way. I know you guys are new. Those are my listing appointments.
Right.
I don't even talk about, I don't even have time, I don't even get my listing agreement out
No.
in the listing appointment. I don't have a PowerPoint that I show up. I sit down with them and I have a conversation with them for an hour. They usually offer me a glass of wine or something like that.
Right.
We talk about their family, their kids, what they're doing, blah, blah, blah. And at the end, they just go, okay, when can you put our house on the market? There's
You know
nothing, there's no like, you know, what's your marketing plan? Oh, you know, here's my marketing plan.
And
That's
they're
like
not,
a-
and then
that's like a
and
two-second
they're not
conversation.
negotiating your commission at that
No,
point.
no, there's not even any like, you know, what can you do this for?
I
Are
want
you
you.
gonna give us a discount? It's just like, you know.
Good
I'm
thing,
like,
cause my
you
commission's
know,
not negotiable.
Yeah.
So go on with your app.
So anyway, so
Yes.
yeah, so pre-open house, as every open house on the MLS is syndicated to our platform, only branded to you as a listing agent. But for the first time, you as an open house agent can now be branded to that listing, that open house, and you can be the direct point of contact for the home buyer. So anybody that is looking at it online on our platform, or if it's a gated neighborhood, you can put, you know, this is a pre-open house. You have to download the app and message me for the gate code, and now you've captured every single buyer coming in the gate with a direct line of communication. What he was saying, I'm recommending people lock the door. This isn't any different than Open Door, the Open Door app. Rather than saying you have to lock the door and not have a sign on there, if it's a really busy open house, you don't want 10 people coming in at the same time.
That's right.
Because then the neighbor's in one area and you've got a buyer in this area, and if it's a neighborhood like a DC Ranch, Market Street, you could lock that door and you could put a sign on there saying this is a pre-open house. You need to check in online for a time to come in before coming in. That's it. And they download the app. You are the contact agent button. They message you. It's instant messaging. What time can I come back? 15 minutes. I'll be done with my buyer, my client right now. Come back in 15 minutes, right? And then that client now knows I have another client coming by in 15 minutes, but I'd love to get to know you, or let's just
Right.
look around the house or whatever. Not only does it show urgency with the buyer that's in there going, whoa, wait, there's another buyer coming in, but now you have control. You can give that client 15 minutes of your time exclusively, and then you want them to check in on the app. They are not going to have to share their email address or phone number with you, but you have a direct line of communication. So he could get 25 people to check in online and just say, you just have to check in, your email address and phone number aren't shared with the agents. But we get a direct line of communication with you. What's great, after the open house, he can now instantly message all 25 people that came in and be like, hey, it was great meeting you today. I'd love to, I just met with a neighbor who has their house coming up on the market, and I'd love to be able to send it over to you. Shoot me your email address. And it becomes a way where you can have your old sign-in book. This is just a way where consumers are wanting to check in this way, that they are willing to check in. And when they check in, they get an instant feedback notification on their phone. And it'll say, would you mind giving us some feedback? As they walk around the house, it has a little questionnaire. They walk around the house, they hit send when they walk out. Now you have a report of all the feedback that they gave to. So.
Here's the only downfall I see, and I'm not beating
Yeah,
up.
no, that's
It's-
okay.
It's just something you should be cognizant of. Is older folks, too much technology will
Yeah.
scare them right off.
Totally.
Scare them right off. Like,
Yeah.
I gotta push buttons to walk around. Oh, forget it. I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
So-
well,
so
and
that's why
it's not for everybody.
The old-fashioned
Yeah.
sign-in sheet and having a conversation just works so great hand in hand with this app. It's awesome if you can make them work both.
Yeah,
People
so-
our age, too much technology could scare them right off the property.
Well, they don't have to have it. They don't have to have the app downloaded, and they don't have to do that. But we do have a guest book that if you
Don't
do
talk
have the
about
app.
the people that still dial like this.
Yeah, no. Well, we do have a guest book that you can have up on your iPad, and they can register in that guest book as well with their email address and phone
Yeah,
number.
which is
So
super
they can do
simple.
it that way. They don't have to download the app, but it is something where Open Door, nobody can get an Open Door in an Open Door house without downloading the app, because
That's
they're
right.
figuring it out, right? And they're having to put their phone number, and email address, and address, and phone. It's like
Yeah, this is awesome.
so it's not for everybody, but the majority of people know how to download an app. Yeah, go ahead.
Could you please write that on the board, what the app is?
Yes. of
Why don't
course.
everybody pull their phone out
Yeah,
right
actually
now?
take your
Just
phone
pull
out and
phones
download it
Pull your phones
because,
out.
okay, and I want
She's
you
gonna
guys
show you
to
how to
all
do this.
download this because, my home group is upgraded. You guys have a free trial for the entire month of October. So for, the month of October for the open house blitz, for everything, you guys aren't paying for this. It is upgraded to premium. You have a contact agent button if you're the open house agent. You want the agent you're holding an open house for to assign you as the open house agent. All they do is go in to the open house, they say request agent, that they send you a request, you accept it, it goes live on our platform.
So you have to go to the
That's
App
instant.
Store, right?
The App Store or Google Play.
Or
Yeah.
Google Play.
That's it right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Okay,
There it is.
download
There
it.
is.
Go
Yeah,
ahead and
just
download
You can create your agent account for free. Those are all the open houses in Maricopa County today. They're all, whenever agents are putting them on 2 weeks early now, that they're putting coming soon listings on. They're being able to pre-market a property not on the market yet, and hold an open house for it, which is awesome.
Now let me jump in.
Yep.
The reason this is really good for you guys is that when you do use one of these other platforms, they're going to have access to a lot of other agents besides you.
Mm-hmm.
With this one, it's going to be exclusively you that they get. They're not going to get 3 or 4 people, you know, like in Zillow, that they can potentially that pays for those, you know, syndicate or whatever they call
Yes,
that.
so what we're advising agents to do, which more agents are beginning to do, we have sign writers, what we're giving out to everybody that's having an open house. You can hang it on your sign. I would advertise an open house easily 10 days to 2 weeks early.
Absolutely.
I'm holding an open house 2 weeks. Every neighbor that drives by, if you want showing times for my open house, you go to pre-open house. For showing times or information, there's a contact agent button directly there for questions or showing times, or if they want to see it early. If it's a coming soon, that's huge to be able to do that. Only the neighbors are going to know about it, or anybody on our platform is going to know about it. Maybe the weekend before, or on the Friday before, I put it on the MLS because it's going to syndicate to all these sites. Redfin is doing more marketing on open houses than ever because they're taking open house leads essentially. So
Right.
So if I've got a buyer
yeah.
and I can't work with them this weekend because
Yes.
I got something going on, I can tell them to go to this app and say, hey, look, here's where all the open houses are, and I am their contact.
Well,
If they-
exactly. So what you can, and so if you have a buyer, so what you can do, you go into my client's platform. We have an invite link. You can send that out to any new buyer. You can send it to a new buyer that you just met. You send it to everybody in your platform or whatever. Hey, you know, check out this new open house app. The coolest thing about our check-in is they can't come in and say, oh, I have a realtor, because if they check in on our platform and it says I have a realtor, they have to choose that realtor from the ADRE database. Otherwise, they can't register with an agent. So they're either represented or they're not. But if they're not represented, if they are represented, they got to pick their agent out of a list. And that agent now gets notified that they've checked into an open house with them, so attached to them. So it's a really great way to know where your buyers are.
So that with a buyer broker is like the ultimate.
It's the ultimate. And that agent now knows that they're represented. When they get checked in, it says this buyer is represented by me, right? And that's the coolest thing.
Do you work with clients without a buyer broker? Be honest.
I'm very new, so I don't even know what you mean by
I
that.
take that
Okay.
down.
Do you work with
I've only sold land before and new homes.
Do you work with clients without?
It's brand new too.
Buyer broker.
So this is
Okay.
this is-
I do know what that is. I do know what that form is.
You guys are so green. This is
No, this is
good.
good. Do not work with someone without a buyer broker, even if you think they're going to walk away, because it shows your professionalism. We should do a class on how to sell people in the buyer broker. The buyer broker agreement is so important, because if these people are out there walking around open houses with this and a buyer broker, you're golden. You could be out playing golf, you do whatever you want, and your client's working. You're actually working for your client with a buyer broker.
Do you guys remember procuring cause from
Yes.
real estate school?
Yes.
That's what the buyer broker is all about. So the buyer broker is an agreement that you sign with a buyer that says that they're working exclusively with you for a certain amount of time. So if they go into someplace, I mean, it's not going to totally protect you if they walk in, but it definitely helps.
But I have, and I'm honest with you right now. I have told people that walked into my open house, if they were assholes, I flat out told them, I said, well, just so you know, I understand that you have an agent, but your agent's not here. Do you have a buyer broker agreement with them? No, we don't. I said, then you can't buy this house unless you buy it from me, because I procured cause. You came in off of my side. I don't care if your agent shows up. You want to buy this house, you got to buy it through me. If you don't like that, get out. I got the balls to do shit like that.
All right.
But I'm telling you, I'm in the right.
Yeah, you are.
Because if they don't have a buyer broker and I procured calls, why did they come in this house? They saw my sign and I had an open house. I could have case all day long and Dax is upstairs and he'll back me up 100%. If you don't have a buyer broker and you run into an asshole realtor like me that's willing to, I'll do it in a second. If they're assholes, in a second, I got no problem with it. Sorry. So did he. He's just not admitting it.
So this is a great
You're
way.
still not gonna admit it.
Our consumer marketing is going to start. It's already going right now. We have about 2,000 consumers on the platform without us even doing any marketing, and now we're launching that this week. So consumers are beginning finding them on our platform, and yes, Redfin and all these other sites will sell your open house lead before they come in the door. So it's okay to put it on the MLS when you are ready for it to syndicate to everybody on the weekend. But if you want to pre-market a property and pre-market your open house, people are on there looking at open houses on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And if they maybe can't come by on a Saturday, they're like, oh, look at this open house. Maybe we can message this agent. It says we can message them for showing times. Great. Maybe we can message this agent and see it earlier on Saturday, right? That's going to go directly to you in instant messaging.
Maybe we could see it today.
Maybe we could see it today, right? And we have an RSVP only. You can hold it open every day from 9 to 5, and then it's an RSVP only. They have to message you for a time, and then you show up and you meet them at the house. So it's a great way. You could put an RSVP only on there every day as a vacant, if the house is vacant or your clients are out of town for the weekend. Put it open every day from 9 to 5, but they have to send you a time slot that they want to come by, so that you're around the corner, you're at home, kind of hanging out that weekend. You're not going to sit at the house all day, but you can have it open all day, and you don't have to put a sign out. And then you hang an open house sign on it, a sign rider for showing times. Go to preopenhouse.com, and then they go there and they get you. You're the only one messaging, and so it's a great way to capture every single person that comes in. So
So what's the different colors?
The colors, purple is coming soon, pre-MLS, not on the market yet. And a broker open, you can also do broker opens as well, so agents can now do broker opens. That they can put those on there, and then every agent that has saved that zip code in their profile will get a ping notification that a broker open just got posted, which is a great way to really saturate the market. Let's say you have one in 85255. Everybody in 85255 gets a ping notification that you just posted a broker open that's available Saturday, and that you're having cheese and wine, right? So it's great. And it's the same way with an open house. Any buyer that has saved that they could draw a search around Arcadia, the little neighborhood of Arcadia, and the minute an open house gets posted, let's say on a Monday, for Saturday, they get a ping notification, new open house pops up, and they click on it, it goes directly to the open house with your name on it. So it's it's so streamlined for consumers.
So we get it free for a month, and then
You
how much is
get
it
it
after that?
$19.99 a month.
$20 a
Yeah,
month.
$20 a month, so.
That's cheap.
Yep.
And you can probably write it off your taxes,
Yeah.
I would think.
Probably.
Yeah.
I write all
It's a
kinds of
marketing
stuff off.
expense.
Right off this wall.
Yeah, if you convert one lead a year, you make
they'll more than pay for
1,000%
it.
ROI on this app, so.
Isn't the inventory pretty low right now?
Yes, so what are our buyers looking for then? Buyers are out looking at open houses that didn't show up on their search. The thing that's really different that these guys really haven't tapped into is that the home buyer has to rely on how the agent entered in that property,
That's
and that
right.
they entered it correctly for it to show up on their search. They're not just going to search a neighborhood. They're going to be like, okay, I want a 3-2, and I want a pool, and I want it to have 2,800 square feet, and I want this. Well, they're going to walk into an open house without a pool that's actually 2,300 square feet, and they're going to buy it because it's like, oh, we didn't even see this one, right?
Mm-hmm.
They would have never walked in the door because they would have never, their agent wouldn't have found it, and they wouldn't have found it online. But they're driving around and they see an open house, and they'll go in. I've had more buyers go in and be like, we found our house today, and it doesn't have a pool.
Right.
Well, of course you found it because I didn't find it because it didn't have a pool. You
Right.
wanted a pool. Well, we can put in a pool. Now they can put in a pool. Of course now you can.
So true.
No, and it was a $650,000 house, and it's like, and they go, well, and I was like, well, of course I didn't find it, but now, but that's what open houses are good for. That my buyer would have never found that house if they had not had an open house on it. So that seller got it, and I got the sale. So,
Let me tell you something else
Yeah.
open houses do for people, for buyers. They can introduce them to a neighborhood and a feel.
Yes.
So when you put a house on the market, it doesn't take into account the neighbors, the feel, the views, that it's a mountain view, that there's fresh orange smell when the blossoms are, all that stuff isn't on a listing. people can fall in love with an area. Maybe that's not the right house, but they could fall in love with an area. And then all of a sudden, with an app like this, you can tell them, hey, it's gonna automatically come up and tell you, I'm glad to meet you there, I'll pick you up and we'll go. But if not, if you wanna run over there and see the open house, go look at it for sure. Call me as soon as you
But
can.
that's
let
what's
me
nice
know.
about our app. If they find it on our app, when they show up, tell them, I want to check in on the pre-open house app.
Right.
Because it's going to represent you. So we want our home buyers to ask for the app. They'll be like, oh, I don't want to sign in on a sign-in sheet. Can I check in on the app?
Yeah.
You know? And then be like, oh, yeah, sure, you can check in on the pre-open house app. Because
Yeah,
now they
but-
get feedback, and they now also know that you're
But if
representing.
the other agents don't have the app,
But if they don't have the app, then they just won't know about it. But it's good for our home
But
buyers to
we'll know
know
if I
about
have
it
to.
and to tell them about it. Like say, oh, are you not on pre-open house? And the agent would be like, oh,
And could somebody get like little business cards printed up with how to do the app and all that, so when people
Yeah.
come in, you can just hand that to them? Hey,
and a
I see
home
you guys
buyer
are up.
that isn't tech savvy, I think for home buyers that aren't tech savvy, that they can actually go on the web at home, an older couple that's looking or whatever, if they have the app on their phone, what's fantastic is they all sync. So they could be online at home, they could save their searches on a Saturday, they could go on a Monday and save all these open houses that they find on Saturday. Then they could get in the car on a Saturday morning and all those open houses are on their phone automatically and it maps them directly to it. All they do is hit a button, maps them right to the house. It's like, so for like tech for older people that don't like it, it has all the open houses. It's so easy. You just hit the map button and it drives you right to the house.
So I've only used it on my phone. Is there a website?
Yeah, there's a website too, and it
Yeah,
syncs
that's nice.
exactly to your phone.
And then
Like
preopenhouse.com?
Preopenhouse.com.
So it'd be good to
Yeah.
have these cards, so when
Yeah.
the people are leaving, you know,
Yeah.
you could just give them the card. and
Are
say,
you guys
"Hey,
all
you're out the
confused
open
by
house."
this?
A little bit,
I
yeah.
get the concept, it's just a lot when we haven't like lived this.
Well, when you
Right.
haven't had an open house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
mean,
if
I had a
you do,
few, so I can
Right.
see how it'd be beneficial.
So let me touch base on something that Neil and I talk about on a weekly basis. There's about to be a whole lot more homes on the market because everybody thinks, oh, don't put your house on the market in the summer, it's too hot, nobody will come by. That's a bunch of crap, but too many people believe that. So if we were at 19,280 a week ago, we'll be at 20, 21, 22. I mean, the cooler it gets, the more houses we're gonna see on the market. So if you don't know how to find an open house to sit, call us.
Yeah.
Get with somebody, you know.
We'll help you.
Obviously, Mark and Jeremy, we should turn that camera on. They want us to sit my home group listings, and I always try to sit up, but sometimes my home group listing isn't available. And if you don't have any listings, so does that mean you're out of business? No, I know a lot of HomeSmart agents that are more than happy to let me sit their open houses because they just don't do them. You know, there's a lot of agents that don't do open houses. There's a lot of agents here that don't do open houses.
Right.
Find an open house.
Go ahead.
I was told that HomeSmart will not allow that. Is that?
Well, HomeSmart might not, but their agents
Oh.
might.
Yeah.
I'm way better at
Come on,
asking.
they got 6,000 agents. They don't manage. They can't. Well,
I'm way
we're
better at
online.
asking for
We're
forgiveness
online.
than permission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
This one happened to be Jason Mitchell listing, my home group listing. And you wanna know why I got that one? This is the way I think, and this is what happened. I went on there, it's been on the market for 100 days. I went into the history to see how many open houses they've had. Zero open houses in 100 days. I begged her to sit that open, because I knew that was gold. It was like a little nugget of gold I found in the listing. A place that's been on the market for 100 days with no open houses. Oh, I got a good gated community. Half the people would say, "Oh, I don't do gated communities because they're hard to get." No, they're not. You just put a little sign on there. Call me for access. Guess what? Now I got your phone number.
That's exactly right.
And I gotta give you the code, so now you come in, I said, wow, you know, do you want me to send you a text on this? I got your number right here, and all of a sudden, they're like, oh, shit.
You never put the
number
gate
right
code on the
Never.
thing.
No,
Never
the
do
neighbors
that.
will hate you.
well, you're not
for that.
allowed to.
Yeah.
But that was the first day. The only bad part about the first time they had an open house is the pool was going green, and all the neighbors that came over looked at it, all called the city and said, pool's going green, so they had to get the pool.
West Nile virus.
Yeah, but that's okay. That's need to be done.
Yeah. So download it. You guys have if you're holding an open house, another great way to find open houses within your own brokerage is to go on the MLS and just see what listings are new. Like new listings right now, There is a low inventory. We have a low inventory right now of houses, so the minute a new listing comes up, that is when you want to hold an open house.
Yep.
And if that agent isn't doing it, then you need to call them and be like, are you having an open house this weekend? No, I'm not. Great, can I do it? Yeah, sure, why not? If it's a vacant one, for sure. If it's not, if it's occupied, they just have to ask their owners if they can. Most owners are not going to say no on the weekend that it's on the market. So go on a Monday or Tuesday, see any new properties that came up. I would say days on market under maybe 14 days.
Yeah.
You can search that, in your own brokerage on how many.
If you
how
guys
many days
don't
they've been on
know how to
market
do
and
that, you
in your
can
neighborhood.
call us and we can show you how to do a search real quick.
Yeah.
You're in a great area for
Yeah.
open houses.
Oh.
Yeah, I was gonna see
You
if you
kidding?
guys had like a quick bullet point of like things to look for when we pull up all those open houses.
Just
so
call
like
me.
dates on market.
Yeah,
call.
days on market. Well, if they've ever had an open house, I mean, you can see the open house history. If that property has had an open house
You're welcome.
20 times in the last 2 weeks,
Welcome.
Yeah.
probably not. If it's had an open house twice, like I've been getting texts all day from people wanting to hold my house open over the weekend. Can I hold your listing open? Can I hold your listing open? Sure, you can hold my listing open. I can't. I'm busy. So, of course I'd love to have it open. And
So,
it's
but-
vacant. and
But
it's
let
ready
me,
to go.
let me say something, if you hold another agent's house open, send them a really nice wrap-up report on Monday. Say, hey, we had 6 people in on Saturday, we had 7 in on Sunday, this is what they're saying. Some people felt it was overpriced, some people didn't like the way they did the add-on in the back, or be honest, because that's information they can take back to their sellers. And they appreciate that. And then the next time you want to set their open house, they'll be like, oh, that Johnny Walker sent me a great report after that. He gets first shot at it. Or you might even call me and say, Johnny, I got a new listing, I can't sit it open this weekend, do you want it? I have agents that call me because I do that when I'm done.
We actually do have a platform already in our app that is hard to get agents to use because it's going to be it's an adoption thing where you can now, as in my home group, you can actually post available open houses. So anybody in my home group and all of my home group can actually put an available open house that they need held open for the weekend.
That'd be awesome.
New agent, no, it's in the platform, but it's getting agents to adopt it. The minute they do, these agents in here are all like, how do I find available open houses? It's like, I created that because I used to have 5 clients of mine on Labor Day weekend say, can you hold my open house this weekend? And I'm like, no, but let me see if I can find an agent to do it. I have no real artery to do that. And so this app, you can post available open houses. These guys could go in the available open houses, see every open house. They can see it on a map. They click on it. I want to hold this one. The agent goes, great. It goes live on our website. It's all on their phone. So I've actually posted an available open house within my brokerage before while I was driving. That's how easy it is.
Now
You go to the
something-
listing, you create the event, you say available to anyone in the brokerage, and then it goes live. And then anyone in the brokerage gets that ping notification that says a new open house is available within your brokerage, and they click on it. You guys would be like, ooh, I want to hold it.
That's so awesome.
It's
Yeah,
amazing.
I wanna
It's
say
amazing. The
something
training
that-
on how to do it is it's all adoption, but the minute it gets adopted, it's already
This is
in
how
the
you're gonna
process.
leverage this app, which I think is cool. Think about this, Johnny. You and I could be sitting here in our offices upstairs, and we could have, 5 listings that are within 5 miles of this office.
Do my multiple open
And
houses.
we could register every one of those,
Absolutely.
every single day, all day long, while we're sitting here in the office. And if somebody calls, boom, I
Yep.
run to that house. Boom.
Yep.
I run to that house. Boom. I'm over at that house. Well, I'm working here. I mean, come on.
Here's
Yeah.
even a better thing that'll work. So,
Pretty
so
awesome.
my thing, once I gotta get 3 or 4 listings all in the same area, and then I'm gonna do multiple open houses all in one day.
Yeah.
1 hour open houses. Go out and sign them all at 9 o'clock in the morning. Open house 1 to 3 or 1 to 2 o'clock. But if I put this in there,
Yep.
even better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can hold 4 houses open.
Yeah, you're
all in the
literally
same day.
staking your claim in
You
like
could
5 or 6
literally have
houses.
4
around
open
you.
houses in the same day, all an hour apart from each other.
Yeah.
All on the same street. Like it'd be
That's
amazing.
right. People
And then
would call
everybody
you.
coming by, it's like,
Right.
No,
and the
I was gonna
postings
do
on
it
every
without
one.
your app. Now with your app.
No, but imagine
Easy, makes it
putting
easy.
this on every one of the houses, and everybody goes, "Oh, that one's open from 1 to 4. This one's open from 1 to 4." And they all, if they go to the app, they all show up in a line. They go, "Oh, wow, look at the times." And
Right.
it has the times and the instant messaging.
People can
So-
register, they can
Yeah.
do this, you go out, you meet, I mean, it's great.
Well, and the thing about it with the geocoding check-in, like you're talking about, not getting them to necessarily sign it. If a home buyer has downloaded the app and they've saved your open house in their list, they get in within 100 feet of your house and they geocode check in. So the minute they walk in, they've already been checked in. You don't even have to ask them for
That's so cool.
So how do we tie our buyers to our account?
You just have to go into the website. The website has, you just create your agent account, and then we have a My Clients tab. There is a My Client link that you copy and paste and you send it out to your buyers. The minute they click on that, it drops them right into register and your name's there. They don't have to find you. If you did it in another way, like if a buyer tried to find you, then they would have to populate your name, but your name's already there. It says, I am working with so-and-so, and they click an account. You now have their name shows up now in your My Clients tab. So every single person that connects to you, you can see all their open house saved searches, their open house they saved, they favorited, they visited, which ones they liked, which ones they didn't like. It's awesome. It's a great way to manage your clients.
Any questions?
So that's just a little bit.
All right, we're gonna wrap up.
So these are available to anybody holding open house. If you want to take one, like if you had them all lined up, then they would be able to.
But you only want to put those on your listings. You don't want to put them on somebody else's listing because then they're going to get the.
No, they're not. Not if it's my open house.
That's right.
That's what's so great.
No, I'm saying you don't.
I would put this on another open house that I'm holding on the weekend if my name
If it's
is
somebody
on there.
else's listing.
If I'm the open house contact, absolutely. Why wouldn't you? Because then everybody comes to me for the open house information.
It'll still go to you, even if it's somebody else's listing.
Yeah.
How does it
You
designate
can actually
that
brand
it's
them,
you?
well, because that agent assigned you as the open house agent.
Oh, so it's got to be.
Right,
Well,
you gotta make sure that they do
they're gonna
that.
wanna do that anyway as a direct point of contact for the open house. So
Right.
it takes them 2 seconds to assign it to anybody in the office or a particular agent. So if you could say, hey, I wanna hold your open house this weekend, Neil,
You
would
need
you
to
mind
do
going to the
this.
pre-open house and just assigning me as the agent? He'd be like, great. Takes him a second on the phone, he sends you an invite, you get a ping notification that you've been invited, you accept it, it's now live, you are now the contact agent button on that open house.
But my
So-
question is, what if they don't go in the pre-open house and put you down as, it's my listing and you call me and want to.
You gotta make sure they do it.
Well, it's,
But if it's an agent that,
well, then you
I'm
go
not on
out,
pre-open house, then you got an issue.
well, you
You gotta sell them on pre-open house.
Right.
well, yeah, it
That's
doesn't.
sneaky, now you're gonna be doing all your
I know,
sales.
I love that.
No, not at all.
That's
No, it
awesome.
hasn't, it's you guys.
Now,
I mean,
give
hey,
us some
let's
random
brand
questions
yourself.
about open houses before, because we're wrapping up here. Random questions, anything?
Try to put-
Nothing?
How do you
Nothing.
deal with the smelly house issue?
Okay,
Yeah.
good question.
The house
Smelly house.
reeks.
Yeah, what you should always do is have a kit when you go to your open house. You should have, I always carry a kit in my car where I have a broom, I've got Windex, I've got stuff to like wipe up the toilet sometimes because they're nasty. Sometimes people do that, and spray, like Febreze, to go around and just kind of spray because this is going to be your platform. You want to make sure it's good. Make sure you arrive early, make sure everything's okay. Questions? Any other questions?
Sometimes you can't get that smell out.
Sometimes you can't.
You know,
So-
yeah, and you can't bring a candle. I used
Now-
to try and do that,
No.
the home buyers, the owners did not like candles.
Now, one thing I want to leave everybody with is you've realized now that these guys are pretty dynamic personalities, right? Okay? You don't have to be a dynamic personality to be successful at open houses. You don't have to be that Svengali or that person that, interacts like magically with people. You just have to be yourself, and you gotta know what you're talking about, and you gotta just connect with people on a human level. That's all. I'm telling you, 99% of the people are gonna hire you because they like you. And the thing that they like about you, one of the things they're gonna like about you right away is the fact that you're working hard. Because realtors have the worst reputation, well-deserved, for being lazy, overpaid, and just basically unprofessional, okay? That's why 90% of them go out of business in the first 12 months, okay? So just be yourself, be relaxed, get out there and do it. Do open houses at least once a week, okay? For the first 5 years, once a week. And then you'll never have to do them again if you don't want to. All right? Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Call me, you guys.
Yeah,
if you need
I'm
anything.
probably gonna keep it active. I'm probably gonna go to
Yeah.
like my home group, but not paying as high a monthly. not. I mean, occasionally I practice, but when I, because I'm such a.
Oh, Neil, nice to meet you, Lonnie.
That I, there's some